Hello, everyone. Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It's been 2 long weeks. Yes, I've seen the messages. I've seen you all asking, when am I going to be back? Well, here we go. Right for the start of the new season. I arrived back last night at Heathrow. And yeah, very much ready for it in the kit. I've got my lucky socks on, drinking my lucky cup of tea in the morning. Everything back to normal. And we are ready to go for 2024-25. Can't wait. It's that typical, it doesn't matter how old I get, the start of the season, always have that sense of anticipation, tension, nervousness, excitement about what is to come. And I do have a really, really good feeling that this is going to be a good season for Arsenal and a fun season to Arsenal. I mean, the last couple of seasons have been lots of fun anyway, but we haven't got ourselves over the line and actually ended it by lifting that bit of silverware. But I've got a sneaky feeling this is going to be our year. Whether it is, we'll have to wait and see. We've got 9 long months ahead of us, and it all starts today at the Emirates, where I'll be heading in just a short matter of time for today's big game against Wolves, which, of course, I will spend most of this show talking about, previewing, look at what Mikel Arteta's had to say. I'll do my predicted 11, that sort of thing. Now, I know before I went away on holiday, I said I might do a few shows here or there. I said it kind of depended on the wife. And the fact that I haven't done a lot of shows, I know lots of you messaging and saying, oh, we know who wears the trousers in the Watts family. And to be fair, absolutely, she does wear the trousers in the Watts family. No doubt about that. But that's not why I didn't actually do any shows while I was on holiday. I got there, I was in the sunshine, I was watching my kids, swimming and everything like that. We're going down the beach. And I thought, if I was going to record any show, I needed to really sort of be in touch with exactly what was going on. I was going to be needing to making phone calls, speaking to people, getting the information that I needed to really be able to speak about anything with proper substance on these shows. And I just thought, you know what, I'm actually going to have 2 weeks as a proper full-on holiday mode. So I haven't been making any phone calls. I haven't been in the loop whatsoever. And so I thought, well, I couldn't really sit here and doing any shows, talking about stuff that I wasn't, trying to find my information out about to sort of back it up and that sort of stuff. So that's why I didn't do it. But I am back now, and we are going to go full throttle, as I said, for the new season. Really looking forward to getting stuck into it. Right. Let's talk about today's game. Huge game, of course. It always is. First game of the season. You just want to get a win. I mean, Manchester United last night, really scrappy performance against Fulham. Not a good performance, but they won. They don't care. They're sitting there now with their feet up, watching the rest of the Premier League sort of get going over the weekend, knowing that they've got 3 points safely tucked away in the bag. And that's all you need to do on the opening day of the season. I'd love to go to the Emirates today, see Arsenal put on a show and actually hammer Wolves and send out a statement of intent to the rest of the Premier League. But to be fair, if they go and win 1-0 and sort of scrap it out, I don't really care. It's just all about the win today. Be very interesting to see who's going to be starting. We'll go through my predicted 11 at the end of today's show. I mean, you're seeing some pictures here in training. Calafiori, obviously, there. Gabriel Jesus pushing for a start potentially. Will it be Kai Havertz up front? Obviously, Gabriel's think he's certainly going to start. A few of the youngsters were involved in training. Ethan Nwaneri was there. Miles Lewis-Skelly played for the under-21s last night, so he's not going to be playing today. He played at left back again for the under-21s in that win against Manchester United. But Nwaneri thinks certainly going to be on the squad. Will we get to see him play today at the Emirates in the Premier League for the first time? Could well be. I didn't sit there and watch all of the Emirates Cup games, but I sort of caught as much of the highlights that I could afterwards. Again, it looks just very, very settled in this team whenever he's come on and played. Thomas Partey, I thought from what I saw of the game against Lyon, Thomas Partey looked very, very good, which is really, really encouraging as well. So looking forward to seeing if he can back that up again today. And yeah, I just can't wait. I'm just really excited. I hope you're feeling exactly the same way as me. It's just, if you're not feeling like this at the start of the new season, I don't know what gets you excited. It doesn't matter, as I said, how old I am. It's just that sense of it all starts again now. We can go again. And like I said, I think it's going to be a really, really good season for the Arsenal. Mikel's been speaking, obviously, at his press conference yesterday at London Colney. I wasn't there. I wasn't back in time. I didn't get back till yesterday evening. But he was speaking at his press conference. He was asked about loads of stuff, obviously, a few little bits of what he was talking about on Arsenal being ready for the start of the season. He said, we are really excited. We've been missing the competition for many weeks. It's too long for us. We are so willing to start and so enthusiastic about it. We had a really challenging pre-season, but we have managed to adapt. And it was a great challenge for everyone to adapt with different groups, different stadiums, different conditions. We took it as an opportunity and a good challenge, and the team has looked really sharp. On Wolves, he says it's really tough. We always have a big challenge to beat them. Gary O'Neill and his staff done exceptional work, and it's a really competitive match. They are really tricky to attack, and they are very tricky to contain. They create chances in various ways. We need to be at our best. And if we do that, we have a good chance to win the game. Certainly not going to be an easy game for Arsenal. You sort of looking at it on paper, the Wolves at home, not a bad start. And it isn't a bad start, no doubt about it. But Wolves are a decent team. Gary O'Neill's a very, very clever manager. He's had a lot of time to prepare for this game, to work out what he's going to do, how he's going to try and stop Arsenal. I do not think Arsenal are going to find it that easy at all today. It's just about getting the job done. We've seen some decent signs from Arsenal in pre-season. It's been a bit of a slow build, I'd say, but there's been some decent signs, certainly in the two Emirates games. Obviously, it needed a couple of set pieces to get past Lyon, but that's a huge strength for Arsenal. We know it's a huge strength for Arsenal. It looks like it's going to be a huge strength once again, and it needs to be, because that can just give you the edge in those tight games. They were excellent at times against Bayer Leverkusen and absolutely put to the sword, of course. So it feels like they've sort of been building well to the start of this season, but this is where it all matters. Pre-season goes out the window now, doesn't it? You just got to start today well and get the job done against Wolves. In terms of the latest team news, Jurrien Timber, he will be in the squad tomorrow. Arteta confirmed that at the press conference yesterday. He said obviously he had a really tough period, but he used it in a great way, I think, because he's managed to get a lot of things done and improved in many ways. He found it really helpful, and I think now he's ready to have his chance. He then confirmed that Fabio Vieira is going to have a late fitness test. There's going to be no Tomiyasu or Tierney. They're still out for a few weeks, and he said everyone else is fine. So we all knew about Tomiyasu and Tierney anyway. So Vieira is the only real doubt now that Timber has been declared fit for today's game. Right, before we get on to who might start today, obviously, when I went away, I have to admit I was expecting Mikel Moreno to have been signed by the time I got back, or some players to have been signed by the time I got back. It hasn't. The squad is still exactly the same. Moreno is still not here, even though it looks like it is still very close. Again, like I said, I've been totally out the loop. I've deliberately not been ringing around anyone trying to find the latest information on this. But it will happen from now. I will start getting back on it and trying to find out exactly what's going on. But it still looks as it was before I went away, when I had been speaking to people to get the latest information on it. It was close, but there was still stuff to do. And it appears that it's still the same thing. Mikel was asked about it yesterday. And of course, he said, I cannot talk about any other players. When he was asked about strengthening the midfield, he said, I said after last season, we had two objectives. The main one, the most important one, is to make sure we're still very much in love with our players and find ways to improve them. And that is the main thing. Then if there are certain opportunities in the market to improve our squad, certainly we have to look at that. That's what we're trying to do. The market is open, so things can happen. So that is always a possibility. Look, I'm absolutely convinced that Arsenal will do business between now and the end of the transfer window. Would they have preferred to have got it done before now? I'm sure they would have done. Would I have preferred them to have got it done before now? 100%, of course, because you want players in as early as possible. But I still do think they are going to strengthen, and I still wouldn't be surprised if some players move on. Eddie's obviously still here. The move to Marseille, that broke down while I was away. They ended up moving on and signing. I can't remember who they signed. The guy from Lens, wasn't it? Instead, so Nketiah is still here. His future is still very much up in the air. Reece Nelson's still here. Obviously, Emil went on the day that I flew off. He made his debut in the Premier League last night for Fulham in that game against Manchester United. So I think there's still a lot of work for Arsenal to do in the transfer window. I'm sure they are going to do some, and I'm sure Mourinho will sign. I was convinced of it before I went away. I'm still convinced of it now, but until it's done, until we signed on that dotted line, you can't say for sure. But I do think, if you had to nail me down and said, are Arsenal going to sign Mourinho? I'd probably say yes, but we still have to wait and see on that. Right, let's talk about today's games, shall we? And who is going to start. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see my predicted 11 for this game. Now, I think this is the same. No, there's one change from the Lyon game, isn't it? I've got Trossard playing at the left and Martinelli started on the left against Lyon. So I've gone Raya in goal. I'm going White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Zinchenko. Zinchenko's had a really good preseason. He's certainly had a good couple of games at the Emirates recently. Obviously, Timber is fit. Mikel confirmed that yesterday, but he's missed the last couple of games. I can't imagine he's going to go straight into the team at left back. Calafiori, I'm sure will be the long-term option at left back, but I still think he's probably being drip-fed into the side a little bit, and Zinchenko's done nothing wrong in the last couple of games, so I think he keeps his place and plays at left back. I'm going for Partey, Rice and Odegaard as the midfield three. See, I said earlier, I thought Partey played very, very well from what I saw against Lyon. There is the option, of course, if playing Rice as a 6, and you can have Odegaard and Havertz together, and then you can play Gabriel Jesus as a central striker. But I think he's going to go Partey, Rice, Odegaard, and then Saka, Havertz as a 9, and Trossard up front. He does have the options. As I said about Gabriel Jesus, Jesus has looked really sharp in pre-season, in training, in the games. Mikel was asked about him yesterday in his press conference, in the sort of embargoed section of the press conference. He said, look, one of the biggest things in sport is mental toughness. Kai showed an unbelievable one last season. And when you're surrounded by people who love you, wanting to put in everything that they can to help you and make you better, and people are a little bit patient as well, you can see that that person is so willing after everything he's doing. Gabby now looks like he really wants it. So that's the best start. So he's telling Gabby Jesus, use Kai as a example for how things can turn around. It was a difficult season for Gabriel Jesus last season, no doubt about it. But he's ready now. He looks ready now. And although I don't think he'll start today, I think he'll go Havertz. If Jesus does start, then I wouldn't be totally surprised about it, because he has looked so sharp in pre-season. But I still feel that Arsenal's best 9 right now, in terms of what he brings to the team and how the team plays when he operates in that number 9 role, is still Kai Havertz. I did bring him into my fantasy team at the very last minute yesterday. And so if he has an absolute stinker today, gets no points, misses 4 open goals, then you know exactly who to blame for that. It is 100% me. So I apologize in advance. This Havertz has a nightmare, because I did make a very late adjustment and put him into my FPL team last night. And when I tend to do that and make very late adjustments, it tends to go disastrously wrong. So yeah, I would say that will be my fault. But there you go. There's my predicted 11 for today's game. Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel Zinchenko, Partey, Odegaard, Rice, Saka, Havertz, and Trossard. Right, I am going to be heading to the Emirates later on today. I'm not sitting in the press box today. I'm in my season ticket with my dad. I will still try and do a video after the game from outside the ground, doing my player ratings, that sort of thing. So keep your eyes peeled from that later. If you want to get involved in tomorrow's show, which will be the usual, much more in-depth reaction show to what we've seen today, then come back to either this video or reply, of course, to my player ratings video later on today in the comments section. I'll pull some of those together and get your thoughts on, hopefully, what is going to be a very, very good Arsenal win, and get those included in tomorrow's reaction show. So just come back to do that. Right, that's it from me. It's great to be back. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching and listening once again. Like I said, it's all guns blazing now as we head into the new season. I'm feeling refreshed. I'm back to it. And yeah, the Arsenal are back in just a little bit later on. Enjoy the game if you're going today. Be loud, make it a cracking atmosphere. And if you're watching around the world anywhere else, then I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get the win that we're all craving, and we start the season in good fashion. Speak to you soon, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye.